Welcome back here to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast to continue on with some more NFC teams and their talks. Not yet the series on the biggest remaining questions, but talking about one of the teams that we will talk about in the next segment with the Atlanta Falcons. And this question I have just recently popping into my head because I feel like when we're talking about the Falcons, yes, the biggest news has been that Kirk Cousins is obviously there and is obviously going to just improve this offense by default because the quarterback position is going to be 10 times better. But I feel like a lot of the attention has gone to Bijan Robinson, and for good reason. I'm not shading him in any way. He's going to have a great year, most likely, just off of the fact that last year he was very good and the offense overall was towards the bottom of the league. But I feel like we're not talking about Kyle Pitts as much. I feel like Kyle Pitts, to me, has been the player that I need to see more from Kyle, not to the level that I need to see more from Bijan, because with Bijan, I feel like I haven't seen the extent of what he can be in the NFL to where Kyle Pitts, in his first year right away, he put up his best year, and it looked like it almost came naturally and very easy to him. So I've already seen the picture, not his full potential, but a good image of what he could be in this NFL, in this league. So the fact that the following 2 years just haven't been up to par makes me feel like I need to see it again to really validate Kyle Pitts and have him, explode for this offense as they drafted him to do, because he was drafted with the 4th overall pick. And the last 2 years haven't been up to that standard. And by that I mean, if you just look at his rookie year, like I said, he posted just over 1,000 yards. He made the Pro Bowl in that year. Maybe he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. I think, to my knowledge, he might have scored 1 or 2. That's all right if you made the Pro Bowl either way as a rookie. You're not expected to score 10 touchdowns and have 1,100 yards, but he did impress a lot of people in his first year. But then he followed that up with an injured-riddled 2022, so that's not really something you could fault him for that much. It was disappointing, but you can kind of get over that. Then last year, he came in with a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement, and again, he fell short. And it was in part, I guess you could go to him as well, but the offense overall just wasn't anywhere near what you'd want in an adequate level offense in the NFL. Like I mentioned, they were bottom 7 in that regard in points per game, and also Kyle Pitts individually posted 53 receptions and 667 yards. So, and he played every game, so it's not like he was dealing with anything else. It's just the production wasn't there. But now that they have Kirk Cousins in here now, on top of improving overall this offense and the command and the flow and the rhythm of it all, I think specifically with Kyle Pitts, it gets me excited just because of what I saw last year with TJ Hawkinson and that combination, that duo partnership that he had with Kirk Cousins, because TJ Hawkinson arrived to the Minnesota Vikings, I want to say already into the season in 2022. So they didn't get an off season of fully integrating with each other, getting to know each other from a tight end to quarterback perspective. So that season, it was all right for them in terms of production. But last year, when they had a full off season to get to know each other, learn this offense together, TJ Hawkinson posted the best year of his career. He was second on the team in yards. He was first in receptions and first in targets as well on the entire team. A team that also has Justin Jefferson on it. I know he was hurt. He only played 10 games, but I think it's still worthy enough to, highlight those things, because a lot of the attention goes to him and a lot of the production and a lot of the throws go to him. So for TJ to have an immediate impact like this speaks volumes to me. And also, again, I know Kirk was hurt and maybe the stats are swayed differently because they had so many quarterbacks playing. But in just that time period that Kirk did play, the first 8 weeks, you look at Hawkinson and he was targeted 68 times in the first 8 weeks when Kirk Cousins was available and he was playing. So that was miles ahead, or not miles ahead, but that cleared anybody that was in second place. I think he almost doubled the amount of targets that second place had as well. So just in that short time span, those 8 weeks that Kirk was playing before that Achilles injury, you saw the connection that Kirk likes to have with his tight end. Targeting him almost 70 times is ridiculous, and it's very a very promising thing to see now if you have a guy like Kyle Pitts on your team. And Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts are both very talented, some of the best talented tight ends that we have in the league. But I think I would dare to say that Kyle gives you more of a freedom to do a lot more things with him and his skill set, his frame and everything like that. It's more wide receiver like than TJ Hawkinson is, so that way you can explore more avenues and maybe get more production out of him because you can line him up almost everywhere. And it goes off of what I've seen with TJ Hawkinson and Kirk. And now Kirk, like I said, has been working this offseason with Kyle. I think that'll do wonders for them and their relationship as they go through training camp together. And with that being the case, Kirk Cousins touched on it, touched on this potential that Kyle Pitts has and making it a little bit exciting if I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan and I'm seeing what I'm seeing on the screen, just the comments that Kirk has made on Kyle Pitts already. He said he can really run and those guys don't grow on trees. He's got the length, and as a quarterback, that's really, really friendly. What I'm encouraging him with is to use that length as much as he can. Anytime he lets the ball into his body, I tell him that wasn't good enough. You should never let it come into your body. You're too good to let it come into your body, and that is super exciting. Again, if I'm a Falcons fan and I'm seeing that and I'm seeing Kirk just talk about Kyle Pitts this way, it's a great sign overall. Just based off all the facts that I just gave out on the potential duo that these two can form. And not to say that, Bijan is going to be ignored or isn't going to be a focal point of this. They also have Drake London, who they're super excited about. And just overall, they added a guy like Darnell Mooney. It's unfortunate that Rondale Moore got hurt with a season-ending injury that he suffered a few days ago. But still, with Drake London, with Kyle Pitts, I think the way that Kirk Cousins is already talking about it is going to form one of the better duos, I think, in terms of tight end to wide receiver in the NFL potentially. And we may not see this connection, right away in the preseason because I don't know if Kirk will play. I don't know if Kyle Pitts will play too much, but it's extremely encouraging to hear, almost Kirk be just as excited about everything as everybody else is. And he knows the fact that he has a great talent like Kyle Pitts next to him. It should be something to watch out for and something that I think, again, not a lot of people are mentioning overall in terms of some of the playmakers that can benefit the most on this team. And for me, like I said, the biggest thing about Kyle Pitts and why I believe, he could be among some of the best tight ends in the NFL currently is because I've seen it already. I've seen him reach 1,000 yards in his first season. Again, when the quarterback play wasn't even close to what Kirk Cousins can provide for them this year, I've already seen it out of Kyle Pitts producing with maybe not a quarterback to the level of Kirk Cousins, and he's already been to that level. He's made the Pro Bowl, and he's still getting tremendously better. He still has years and years to play in the NFL. There's no way he's anywhere close to a finished product, and that's another factor that just makes this entire thing even more exciting just off of the bat of that because, we haven't really reached the prime years of Kyle Pitts at all, and now he gets to play with a quarterback like Kirk Cousins. It should be something to watch overall, and again, he could exceed the level that we've already seen in a Pro Bowl type season, so that's a great thing to point out. And also, just lastly, it makes me just believe that that's the reason why overall Kyle would benefit more, not just directly with the combination of a quarterback to a receiving player. Obviously, Bijan gets the handoffs in those games from Kirk, obviously, but in a direct combination where one affects the other pretty directly, that's one factor with this all. But because he could exceed that level with Kyle Pitts and Kirk Cousins as well, we could see maybe another level from Kirk that we haven't seen in a while. And that's saying something because last year he was on a track to be very, very good. Now I think this offense is even more talented overall with what they have to offer. So it is exciting overall with Kyle Pitts, with Kirk Cousins being joined together. I think they will benefit greatly just playing off of each other. Kirk not only, giving him the opportunity to improve overall in the season, but the fact that He can be a mentor. He's an experienced player. To give those little bits and nuggets to Kyle Pitts as he gets better and matures, it's just going to help him in the long run and accelerate almost that process going forward. So to me, that's where it's at right now with this team. I think Kyle Pitts and people just in general should start talking about this a little bit more, and start pointing it out, because this, I believe, is going to be something to watch tremendously in this new year in 2024 with what the Falcons have to offer, a whole new wave of coaches and players and everything like that. This, to me, is the catalyst to everything that they could do on offense. So the way I'm talking about it, I'm very excited about it. I have high hopes for them to make an impact right away. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye on it, because don't be surprised when it happens. And don't forget to acknowledge the fact that I pointed it out here in August. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about on that topic. But we're not going to move too far off of that, because next we're going to mention the biggest remaining questions for the NFC South. So we're going to talk about some more on the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we return after this break. Don't go anywhere.